Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we are talking about the away game in the Premier League against bitter rivals, arch nemesis Spurs. Andrew, I can't believe I am starting this podcast with this information, and it fucking pains me to say it. But Spurs are currently top of the league with 26 points. Obviously, they've had their new manager join this summer, who has completely changed the way that they play, and they've lost Harry Kane, and arguably they've made the best signing this summer in James Maddison. Their record at the moment is pretty good. They've only lost one game, but that was in the League Cup to Fulham on penalties. Other than that, they've drawn with Brentford 2-2. Brentford are getting some decent results at the moment. Arsenal 2-2. And they have beaten United 2-0, Bournemouth 2-0, Burnley 5-2, Sheffield 2-1, Liverpool 2-1 in that controversial game, which probably should have been 2-2. Luton 1-0, Fulham 2-0, and Palace 2-1. With that, what are your thoughts going into this game against a Spurs side who are clearly on form?
I mean, they're on better form than us. They've obviously had a much better season than we've had. But they haven't really beaten anyone.
They're 14 points ahead of us.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they haven't, listening to that list, they haven't beaten anyone that they shouldn't have beaten, other than maybe that Liverpool result's a shock, but so was the refereeing decisions. So, yeah, they beat United, which historically you'd think that sounds like a great result, but this season they've not been great. So I think potentially it's sort of flattering to deceive. I think obviously they had a good game against Arsenal. Arsenal also flying this season, so it does show that they're a good team that are difficult to beat, and they're scoring goals. I think Paul Merson came out and said he'd be shocked if they beat us.
Yeah, he did. He came out today and said that. Yeah, he actually thinks we're going to win.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm less nervous going into this game than I am against the games against Forest and Brentford. Partially that might be because we're expected to lose this one, and therefore you kind of don't feel as nervous because it's not as embarrassing if we lose. But at the same time, I think I share a lot of what Merson was saying in terms of we seem to do better in games where teams actually want to attack us, and we can do a high press against them, and they've got a bit more of the ball, and it's not just them sat in their box and counter-attacking. And I don't think they'll do that against us, not at home anyway.
No, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
So basically, I think the main challenge ends up being trying to keep James Maddison relatively quiet and not letting Son run through with the ball over the top. Outside of that, I think there's still a fair amount of threats, but that feels like their main threats of scoring goals at the minute. I think Richarlison always likes playing against us as well, so he's one that is a bit worrying. But I think there is a way that you can play against them that they're going to struggle against us. So I'm not that nervous, and I'm quite hopeful that we'll get a win.
Fair. I am a little bit nervous. I know what we say about like the open games, and I completely agree with that. They can concede goals, but so can we. And that's my worry, because at the moment, I still struggle to kind of put my finger on a player that you're guaranteed going to go, yeah, he'll get us a goal. I know we talk about Cole Palmer and everything going through him. But yeah, I'm more suspect of where our goal is going to come from, and I can see a few players on. I mean, still got Kulusevski as well. I'm slightly worried about that right hand side because Pedro Porro likes to get forward. So yeah, I still don't know what to make of it. I've been umming and ahhing about my my team selection all day. But it should be a good game, and I really don't want to lose to Spurs because I can't stand Spurs. So yeah. With that being said, should we go on to the starting 11s, which we are going to do in a different way today?
Yeah.
Have you got your squad ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Right.
Minor technical difficulties
No
incoming.
minor technical difficulties whatsoever, thank you very much. I've been set up all morning for this. So, with that being said, Andrew, your starting 11 for the Spurs game, which is away.
Sanchez in goal. Because I don't know anything about Petrovic.
Solid start.
I think then you've got to go Reece James right back, as is our strongest right back, and play him for 65, 70 minutes. You can get through it. You go Thiago Silva and Levi Colwill.
I think I know who you're putting at left back then.
Cucurella at left back. Hasn't really been letting us down recently. Touch wood. So I think the additional pace that he's got is helpful. Midfield of Caicedo, Gallagher, and Enzo.
How are you lining them up before I start putting them down where I assume that you want them?
Caicedo there, yeah, and then the other two slightly further forward. Then I'm going Cole Palmer on the right, Sterling on the left, and Nicholas Jackson up top. And I'm hoping Mudryk is back to at least be on the bench, so we've got some pace off the bench.
He is back to full training, so I'm hoping he will be on the bench because I can't see him starting because I wanted to put him in my team, but I haven't for that reason because I just don't think he will start after having 2 games out. I think it's 2 games.
Yes, it's been a couple.
So yeah.
I think that's our strongest 11 at the minute of players that are pretty much fit. I think obviously Reece James I've put in over Malagusto, even though there's some fitness concerns over him. But I think until Badiashile is fully match fit, I don't think there's a question that I'd have Levi Colwill in there. I think Thiago Silva is. We just need the experience in this team in a game that's this big and a game that we kind of need to win.
Fair.
Any changes? What's your team?
My team's very different.
Slightly worried about that.
This way. Okay. No. I know my team's different. Like, I know that my team in no way in hell is Poch doing what I've done.
Right.
And I will be completely honest with that.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, I wanted to do what you've done, and basically from the midfield up, I was like, yes, absolutely. That's exactly how I would set up my team.
Right.
I was very skeptical and very worried about defense in the sense that, yes, Cucurella hasn't done badly for us, but I still think he's too standoffish for me with putting in a challenge. And against someone like Kulusevski, and knowing how Maddison likes to get around the box, I just thought he could be a bit unreliable and there could be gaps between these two, and it will give Maddison, because Spurs normally play a 4-2-3-1, so they overload the midfield. And I was conscious about the midfield being overrun, and I was conscious of the gap here, if that makes sense, between the midfielders and the strikers. And I thought, well, regardless of what we do, because of the way that our midfield play, the chances are there's always going to be a gap here in between them, because we don't have that sort of out and out playmaker or centre attacking midfielder in this three. So I've gone for, and I think this is what Poch will do, maybe one or two differences with personnel in defence, but I think that's what Poch will do. So I've gone for something very different. And this is how I know my team is not happening, because I'm not starting Caicedo.
Okay.
Yeah. I am not starting Cucurella.
Right.
And before you say it, no, Maatsen is not playing. Okay,
Well, no, you don't seem to like playing at left back, so
no, I don't normally play
That's
left
right.
back. You're absolutely right. You are. Had he played a left back for the Blackburn game, then maybe I've been, oh yeah, maybe. What I'm doing is I am going with a back five.
okay.
And I'm doing this. I really liked Badashil against Blackburn, and I felt, do you know what? That boy needs to play. Poch loves having centre backs playing. So I have then gone for four centre backs to start.
Right.
The reason being is we all know what Reece James can do. And there were talks pre-season about him potentially playing defensive midfield if Gusto was really, really good. So I've effectively done this, which I'm hoping would then still stop the overload of the Spurs midfield. In a defensive wise, we can go to the back five. A lot of the centre backs have good distribution, as we've said previously, with long balls or short balls. And Reece can join the midfield in attack, and he still can link up with Palmer. So this formation really relies on Reece James. And although I think he'll only get 60 minutes, as would Badashil, that's when I would then switch those two out and go to the 4-3-3 formation.
Right. So can you illustrate to me so I understand how having two players in the midfield defensively stops Tottenham overloading our midfield?
What do you mean?
Well, you've said that you're worried about a midfield overload when we had three.
I've got Reece James flirting as a defensive midfielder / centre midfielder and as a right wing back.
Right. And you're
I think
worried
Reece James.
Kulusevski, and I'm assuming it'll be Richarlison wide. I forget what their other options are. But your idea to stop them is Reece James comes in midfield and one of them's one-on-one with Dizazi, and the other one
I've got it as I actually think I've not been impressed with Caicedo. There, I've said it. I've not been impressed with him. I think Reece James can offer more in that position in this game, with his distribution, with his ball play, with his defending. And I think with those three just sort of going from side to side, putting on a press, I don't know. I know it's stupid. I know it's never going to happen. But I feel like this gives us more options with regards to counter-attack, defending, and then, going straight into attack. I think I just don't. I'm not convinced on Caicedo yet. We haven't seen the best of Caicedo yet. I know Reece James has only just come back, but I feel like this gives us more momentum for a quick counter-attack and a press.
Okay.
I know, it's out there.
I'm just still not understanding where you're actually playing Reece James at this point. Is he up there or is he CDM? Because you seem to make it sound like he's playing midfield when you're describing how they were playing.
When they've got the ball, we've done it before for another manager. When we've got the ball, we drop back into a back five. When they've got the ball, they can drop back into a back five, and then out of the two wing backs, he'll be the one that presses forward and he can join the midfield at certain times if need be.
I can't see how you'd have a right back that then runs into the middle of midfield. Sometimes you have like the middle centre back comes out into midfield and he creates like a
He's
four,
done that before.
two banks of four.
Nah, he's done it before and stuff. I'm pretty sure about it. I can't remember under which manager because we've had fucking 4 in the last 12 months. So yeah,
It would have probably been Tuchel, but right, yeah, I'm more confident with my team. I could see potentially Cole playing like a left back and a back four because he does seem to like that. But or I
like I said, I know it's weird.
I think he'd probably drop Badashil, stick another midfielder on, and then Cole Palmer plays sort of more in behind. So when we're attacking, Cole Palmer sort of shifts in field a bit more, and then you get Reece James the overlapping run, and you kind of don't really have a left back. You've got 3 centre backs.
To be honest, like I said, for me, I wanted Mudryk playing. I would have had Mudryk, Cole Palmer, and Sterling as the front 3, but Mudryk can't play. I didn't want to put Madueke in. I know I should put Caicedo in because of the money that he spent, and I know he's going to play, which is why I know that this is not going to happen. I didn't want to put Cucurella in because not that he's done anything wrong. I just don't. He doesn't like to tackle. He just stands and tracks. And I just think with some players that they've got, you don't want that. You need someone to put in a challenge. So that's why I put in Colwill. I wanted Badashil in. Thiago was always going to play because he didn't play during the week. And then I just thought, actually, I'm going to go with Dizazi as well. And then have Reece James there. The only thing I would possibly change with what I've done, but I just thought actually I quite like the idea of having a very solid back line and making it a little bit difficult for Spurs rather than just playing the 4. The only thing that I would change from what I've done is I'd probably take Dizazi out, but then again he is quicker than Thiago, and put in Caicedo, and then it's basically your formation, but you don't have him in. But I just like the fact that that back looks a lot more stable for me like that than it does with having him out and Cucurella in. And like I said, I'm not convinced on Caicedo at the moment. You know, I just think if Reece James dropped in and dropped out, or even with the defenders we've got on, they're going to distribute the ball better than him.
Okay,
but I just, like I said, it's more the fact that I was trying to sort out the issues that I was worried about. That's what it was. You know, if Chilwell was fit, Chilwell would be in and stuff. I just, like I said, I've been thinking about it all day, and I know it's a weird one, but I just feel like this is just a bit more solid. It is very defensive to a certain degree, but I just think it's a bit more solid, and I think it takes out some of the risks from a defensive point of view more than anything else.
Okay. So what scoreline do you think this team is going to achieve?
I reckon they could win. I reckon I'm going to go 2-0, maybe 2-1, but I'll go 2-0 because I need to back this now that I've done it. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think with my formation, it'll be 2-1, and I think Sterling's going to win a pen for the first one, and Cole Palmer will slide away. Second one, I think will just be a scrappy corner. I think we're due a scrappy corner goal in the Prem.
Well, you could argue Bad Shields was a little bit.
That's what I'm saying,
but yeah. Well, with mine, I'll say 2-0, and I'm going to go with Do you know what? It's so fucked up. I was going to say Reece James and then a centre back from a corner. No, do you know what? About that, I'd go Reece James and then I'd go one of the centre backs. I'd go Badashil with a header or Thiago Silva with a header in the corner. Because that's another reason why I've done this. You've got, a bit more height and a bit more presence now in the box for attacking and defensive corners.
Yeah.
That was another thing that I was thinking about when I did it. I just thought, you know what, we've now got a bit more height and a bit more presence. And I was hoping it might put teams under pressure. I think it's different. I don't think it's awful, my team.
Very defensive. And I just don't understand.
It is very defensive. But when we then win the ball, we'd go back to a 4-3-3 and I'd move Reece James into the midfield.
What are your subs when inevitably Reece James and Badashil have to go off at 65 minutes?
Yeah, so that I then bring on Gusto.
Yeah.
James. And then I take Badashil off.
Yeah.
Again, because he's come back from injury. This is more 60 minutes, give or take. Regardless of the score, I'd be taking off Reece James and Badashil 100%.
Yeah.
Just to manage their minutes and manage their recovery. And then I would bring on Gusto 100% for Reece James.
Yeah.
And then for Badashil, if you think the formation's working, I would bring on potentially Cucurella and I'd swap Levi Colwill there and put Cucurella on the wing. But then if not, you could then easily bring on Enzo and then you go back to your traditional 4-3-3.
You mean Caicedo?
Yes,
You
I meant
said
Enzo.
Enzo,
You're right. My brain said Caicedo, but my mouth said Enzo. You're absolutely right. But that's what I would do. I just that's the whole way I was thinking about it because there's not much you could do with the front three. Mudryk can come on at some point, hopefully.
I'm just staring at a gaping hole between.
Yeah, but there's always a gaping hole between the midfield and Jackson.
No, a gaping hole between the midfield and Thiago Silva, and I can just see James Maddison in there.
Yeah, but they'll drop back. They're not just going to stand still.
No, but they like the high press, don't they? So we need one that's sweeping up. It's fun.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Think we're seeing it.
I think yours is definitely closer to what he'll do.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have better shit. And this was the other thing. With the 4, I was like, I don't know what 4 he's going to do because I don't, as much as I like Thiago Silva, I love Thiago Silva. But I actually thought him in a 4 is vulnerable.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be a bit too slow. So then I was like, right, cool. Well, you could drop him out. I think Cole was going to play. He's released a statement saying like he's well up for it. The team's well up for it. He didn't play midweek. Do I really want Cole and Dizazi next to each other? No. Do I want Badashil and Dizazi next to each other? Potentially. So the other way that I'd have done it was I wouldn't have Cucurella, but then you are losing pace on the wing, but you definitely, you got a bit more stability. I'd potentially drop out Thiago Silva, and then you would then go bring in Caicedo. I'd have Colwill on the left, Badashil, Dizazi, and Reece James.
But
again, the issue is you've got that thing about players not playing together. I just thought numbers in the box, and I don't want to lose this game. You can tell I don't want to lose this game.
Yeah.
For lots of reasons. A, we need points. United have just scraped another win today when we could have gone above them potentially, I think, in the league if we won this game. I don't want to lose to fucking Spurs.
No.
So it'd be nice for us to be the team to beat them, but I don't want us to lose any more points. So, and especially with the games that we've got coming up, I was like, they're big games, they're tough games. I just thought, do you know what, just be a bit more solid, a bit more defensive. And if we're going to go counter-attacking, which is what we've spoke about doing in the past, I was like, it's not a bad way to counter-attack. Because Reece James will offer more as a counter-attack than Caicedo.
Yes.
But Caicedo
offers more in springing a counter-attack, I would say.
Huh?
I think Caicedo offers more in winning the ball back in the middle of the park and springing a counter attack, but
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you feel better, I could just move everyone along and I'll put Reece James in the midfield if that makes you feel better.
if that's where he's actually going to be playing, that would really help me out. Yeah.
Well, he's at the moment he's playing the wing back position.
Which, but yeah, then there's just a huge gaping hole for James Maddison, and we're overmanned in midfield, or he pulls in, and then we've got Dizazi 1-on-1 against
Okay.
Richarlison or Son. So I don't like any of these options really.
Is that a bit better for you?
Not really, because no one's picking up James Maddison, or they're leaving it with. It's still a 3 against 2 actually in midfield. Because if we're worried about Pedro Porro getting forward,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Then you've got basically Badashil, who's just come back from injury, trying to mark Kulusevski. You've got Colwill on Porro because let's face it, Sterling isn't going to do too much, and especially not in that formation if he thinks he's got that many defenders behind him. He'll probably justify to himself not running back. I just don't see how we're not getting either done in midfield or we're getting done out wide in this formation. I think my formation just sort of matches up better.
No, again, like I said, I don't have a problem with your formation. I don't have a problem with your formation. That was my backup formation. That was the other one that I was looking at. The issue that I had was I didn't know who to play. When there were certain players that I did not want to play, and I was just looking at it, and I was like, well, I don't want him playing. I get what you're saying about Enzo, but for me, I'm not sold on him yet. I'm really not sold on him yet. I don't think he's actually done enough. I don't think he's been that good. I don't even think he's been that good at collecting the ball. I think as a 3, they've worked together at collecting the ball. But in terms of previous players that have played that position, I don't think he's been the 115, 116 million player that we thought we were buying. And I just went for something just a little bit more solid. I understand what you're saying about the gaps, but truthfully, I this was the hardest one for me because I was like, I don't want to lose to fucking Spurs. But I get what you're saying. It's really fucking out there, I know. But I wanted Badashil in, and then I wanted Thiago Silva in, and I just wanted us to be a bit more compact at the back. And yeah, I don't know, mate. I really don't know.
I think it would make slightly more sense if Cole Palmer dropped in behind and we played a top 2 of Sterling and Jackson.
Yeah,
it does a lot
possible, but I don't like Sterling up top, and I don't trust Jackson up top. So,
okay, fine.
This is what I'm saying. There's just certain players that I think are vulnerable for various different reasons against a team like Spurs, and I was worried about us getting punished too much. I get what you're saying.
It sounds like there's a lot of players that you don't actually want playing.
I said if Mudryk was fit and Mudryk was able to play against Blackburn, Jackson would not be in my starting lineup. It'd be Mudryk.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Cucurella's going to play. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But I didn't want us to play a back 4.
Fair.
Because I think Thiago Silva will struggle in a back 4 against Spurs. And I said I've not been convinced with Caicedo. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna just overload the defensive line, and Reece James. I don't know how to explain it any better, and I feel like a fucking idiot right now. But Reece James has done this before, and he's joined midfield before. I think he did against Real Madrid, unless he actually played in the midfield. I can't remember, but he's definitely played that position before, and he's then sort of joined the midfield and pushed on. It's sort of almost like basketball. He's played both ways, but I don't know. He was my outlet really in terms of breaking from midfield and using the wings because Colwell's not going to get forward. But yeah.
Okay. I guess all we can do is see what happens on the day.
Well, I'm telling you now, this ain't going to happen.
No, but
like I said,
it's what it is.
Yeah. Not enjoying this function at the moment, I have to admit. But we move on, as you say. Let's stop sharing this screen. And then what have we got? Yeah, so like what improvements do you want to see from the game, from previous games?
I want someone locking James Maddison down. I want someone on him like a rash. And I think for me, that's Caicedo.
Not Enzo, Caicedo.
Please stop saying Enzo when you mean Caicedo. It's very confusing. And I want us to go back to we'll let them have more of the ball and we'll counter-attack and try and be more direct when we've got it.
Well, that was the other reason
why I did what I did.
So they'd have the ball and then hopefully we could counter-attack through Reece James.
Yeah. But those are my two things that I think are the major keys for this game are locking down James Maddison, not letting him have any time or space, and letting them have a bit of the ball so that they flood some players forward and we've got some space in behind that will help Jackson and help Sterling and help hopefully everyone, because if we end up doing the pass it round, and then they have the chance to break through Son and Richarlison and Kulusevski, I think that's where we'll get into a fair amount of trouble.
Yeah.
Anything you want to see?
I just don't want us to fucking lose. I can't stress it enough. I don't like them. I can't stand them. And the fact that they're top of the league makes me sick. So, yeah. I'm already annoyed about this game. It's not even kicked off.
No, you look so calm and
collected. I know. Yeah. I know. But yeah, like to be honest, I don't know. Like, with this game, I just don't know. I've got a really bad feeling about it, which is why I did what I did with the starting 11. I just don't want us to fucking lose. I just really, really don't want us to fucking lose to them. And I'm hoping we see Reece James improve from his injury. Cole Palmer, I feel like it literally all lies on Cole Palmer, unfortunately. I want Enzo to have a really good game in midfield, a bit like he did in the second half against Liverpool. I want Conor Gallagher to press like he's never pressed before. Sterling to just run and get a penalty or pass somebody, yeah, and just somehow gift it to Jackson on a fucking plate, on a silver platter. But yeah.
Odd, because you didn't have us scoring through a penalty or Nicholas Jackson scoring, so
like I said, I'm struggling with this game. I really am struggling. I sat there. I even brought up FIFA, for fuck's sake, to look at all the different formations just so I could see them in front of me to see how I could get this to fucking work. And yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're not our manager. That's for sure.
To be fair, I'm glad I'm not our fucking manager, to be brutally honest. Although I wouldn't mind the quick job and the quick payout when they fire me. That'd be quite nice.
Have to pass your probation period first, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that. So, yeah. Right, on that horrific episode by me. Do you know what, Andrew? I'm gonna let you do the sign off today. I think you need to do the sign off today. I can't.
Yeah, as Matt is getting very emotional today, I'll do the sign off. Thanks for watching, guys. So like, follow, subscribe, notification bell, and join us next week where we'll be doing the post game.